Okay, my name is Joanne Sosa. I'm here on behalf of Cato. We just had an event. That was actually a wonderful event with global climate change science and policy, Dr. Patrick Michaels. And one of the folks that came out is Yesenia Rojas. Yesenia, would you like to tell everybody in Spanish what you thought about this?
Buenas noches, que es muy importante saber lo que está pasando con el clima y especialmente nosotros que no sabemos por qué está pasando todo esto, ¿verdad? Fue muy interesante para mí en lo personal, especialmente estas calores tan fuertes que hay y pues muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for bringing your kids, and I hope everybody understood what was going on. Thanks.
Okay, so what did you want to ask me?
I want to ask you what did not get addressed and what is it? What's your opinion? Okay. Do you want to do
Sure.
that? Okay, sure. Hold on. And we're here with.
Vanjie Oberschlag.
And what organization are you with?
With several, but I'm here as a private citizen tonight.
Wonderful. Well, she came to see this event with regards to climate change. And what did you think about what was said, and what is your opinion about what's really going on?
I think the point that all of the scientists that spoke about saying what we don't know, and that I appreciated Dr. Hoaglung speaking to the fact that the myriad of disciplines are involved in this, and that in one evening we probably would not get a clear understanding of what's going on. That said, leading scientists around the world say that something is happening and say that we need to be concerned. So I'll respect that. I was concerned when the question was addressed to Dr. Michaels about what's the harm. What would be the harm in making changes in our energy policies and committing resources to alternatives and altering our lifestyles. And all he could speak to was somebody suggesting that we would devolve as a nation and somehow de-industrialize and not be a world leader. I found that to be quite disingenuous and rather disappointing.
I hope you're right.
Well, thank you very much. And actually, oh boy, okay, here we have Phil Falcone, actually Joe's War. Phil Falcone came out to be part of this event as well, and Phil actually is a direct producer of Joe's War. It's a new film that's going to be coming out with Armand Arsant and I believe it's Ed Asner. It's about soldiers with PTSD, but he just came out to see this event also. Joe, what do you think is the significance of this type of event, and why should the public be concerned or know about the climate?
I think everybody should be concerned about climate control. Global warming, whether it's real, whether it's imagined, doesn't matter. We should be concerned about it. I believe there are issues. I believe we need to take steps. We know that oil is big industry, and they control a lot. I think we need to be smarter in the way we use our energy. I think solar power needs to come in. I think electricity needs to come in. I think we need to wean off of some of the oil and the gas. But I also believe that what Dr. Michaels, I believe it was, mentioned that, even if we cut out our energy use completely, we wouldn't change much of what's going into the air. I believe we need to do more than that. I think we need to worry about other things like how we're going to fix and how we're going to do other things different to be prepared for it. I think just throwing money at something and not having a game plan is not the answer.
And your name is?
Cheston Kshatriya.
What did you think about this event? A lot of people do not know about climate change, or they have, of course, various opinions about it. How about yourself? What did you think?
I thought it was very good. It was very interesting and informative. I really enjoyed it, and gives you a lot to think about.
Did you learn anything tonight that you didn't know?
Sure did.
And the three speakers, they all had very different points of view, correct?
Yes, they did.
Now, you live here in Anaheim?
I do, yes.
Have you noticed a change in our climate in Orange County?
It's up and down.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. So.
Well, I'm glad that you came out, and I appreciate it, and I hope you come back to the next event we have with Cato. Thank you very much.
Wayne
you.
Taylor.
Thank you.
And I'm a faculty at Charles Drew University and UCLA. And actually, I enjoyed the meeting, but I found that there were several things that weren't mentioned that were really important. And so I've read a lot about this subject of climate change, And I think, over 97% of scientists actually admit that it's real and that humans are having an effect on making CO2 go up. Now we're above 400 parts per million and increasing more. And that's actually in the models, as everybody admitted, that it's causing the temperature to go up. So humans make CO2 go up, CO2 makes temperature go up. And the question is, well, is it as much as the models say? And I believe that what was left out was that the models, if you include the oceans, actually agree very well with the 2.5 degree temperature rise. And even Dr. Michael said, that there is going to be, according to the model, 2.6 degrees of temperature increase, and that could have a very serious effect. And so what if, by not making CO2 here in America, it only makes 0.14 degree rise? Well, that's just saying we can't do it alone. That's all it means, that we have to work in conjunction with the whole Earth, especially India, China, and all the rest, to solve the problem. How do we solve it? And so here's the deal that wasn't mentioned also. Can you hold this a minute? So look, if this is time going this way, okay, and this is alternate energy price coming down, and this is the price of fuel, coal and gas going up. And it's inevitably going to go up because we're getting the dregs out of the bottom of the ocean and 2 miles down below that, right out of the rocks. We're fracking rocks. We're getting the dregs of this carbon energy. So inevitably, the fuel price goes up, but alternate energy, and this is solar, perovskite, solar cells and stuff, price goes down. And right when you hit this, we come to the price equal, the tipping point between, shifting from one form of energy, which is petroleum, to the other, which is alternate energy. And that's going to happen inevitably. You can just see that it's going to happen. And the question is when. And here's the problem with capitalism. Capitalism has a lag. So there's a lag between the burning of the fuel and the heating of the ocean and the melting of the ice of who knows how many years. But by the time that lag happens, our capitalist system will not have responded until the crunch hits. So the crunch is going to hit after it's too late to do anything about it. So we have to use our brains like the froggy in that bucket of water that's heating up, and pretty soon you're dead. Well, you have to use your brain and just to realize, we're going to have to do the switch now before the effect hits, before that lag happens. So that's what I think.
Thank you so much for coming. I love what you said, and we're going to share that with
everyone. My name is Michael Buss, and I was present at the climate debate at Servite Auditorium just a couple of weeks or so ago. And I wrote several hundred words for a blog of mine, which various people have seen, but you may not have read it. Several people have asked my reaction to the meeting, and overall I found it extremely interesting. For many of us, it was a little bit over the top. Not that it was overly scientific, but some of us are pretty ordinary and couldn't necessarily follow the arguments, so we struggled a little bit to understand what was being said by our presenters. Nonetheless, they were very good. Dr. Patrick Michaels was the main speaker, and he is of the view that global warming is real, and it is exacerbated by human factors. So get rid of the idea that he's against global warming or he's not a believer, all these rather facile and easy bits of language. He knows there is a problem. And for the most part, he spoke about atmospheric temperatures. And at the end of that, he showed us various graphs of government predictions, which looked like the old hockey stick picture whereby the trend goes up and up and up and up. But he said the facts are that the trends in global warming are more straight. And there was opportunity later on in the meeting for Greg to be able to question him on this and query him, but he didn't pick that one up. The following speaker spoke more widely in terms of global warming. He's a geologist, an ice specialist. he was talking to us more about the evidence of climate in the past through taking great big core samples that have been dug down for thousands of feet through ice flows and permafrost and such like, from which we can reconstruct what the atmosphere used to look like in years gone by. And he also took the view, along with Patrick Michaels, that there have been fluctuations in global climate over the millennia, and for natural reasons, all sorts of natural reasons, the climate has gone hotter and colder from time to time. And we currently are in an interglacial period. It was all very interesting, but I wasn't sure where the whole thing was going. And even when Greg Diamond engaged Patrick Michaels in discussion, we still weren't too clear. And even when the questions came along, it was hard to pick the flesh off the bones and say, well, here is what we really discovered. But this is what I think I found out. Number one, that Patrick Michaels would not be as alarmed about global warming as many of us would be, saying that this atmosphere has the capacity, or our globe has the capacity, to soak up any amount of abuse that you hurl at it. It has dealt with far worse problems in the past, and it will deal with this. And we're talking about greenhouse gases and heating up and a change in ocean temperatures and such like. And I would agree, it does have that capacity. And I think the second speaker, John, what was his last name? We'll get Hoaglung, John Hoaglung, he would have agreed as well. The issue is this: can the human species survive with all the changes that will take place? And this was never really properly discussed, because it seems to me, and who am I, just a layman, that human species will be profoundly impacted by climate change, even though our planet will manage to figure out a proper response to it. So it was left kind of in the air. I'm not sure what else to share with you. It's not my job to go over all the talks again, just for your benefit now. I couldn't do it straight off the top of my head from memory. It was a good meeting. There were about 20, 30 people there. Not a huge turnout, but there hadn't been a lot of publicity. But of those who did come, they were really interested, and the debate and the discussion afterwards was really worthwhile. And I think Cato did a great job in staging the event. For them to be able to put on an event of this sort of interest and do it on a citywide basis is going to be valuable. If they can do more events like this in the days to come, I'll be well pleased.